Hello everyone and welcome to Clarity 16.1.0 Supportability and Feature Training. I am Vib Malhotra, and as part of this training we will be covering the status report enhancements that are coming with Clarity 16.1.0. So what's new in this release is basically we are enhancing the status report module to now support the to-do table widget. We are going to provide the option, which is a ask from a lot of our customers, the option to set the report date to the current date when you're previewing the report itself. We are going to introduce a new status report workspace, which will allow you to see the status report from all parts of the application. And finally, the ability to bulk export the status reports to PDF. The reason this is important is because customers have approached us that they want the capability to be able to view status reports across multiple investments in a single place, and also then have the ability to export multiple of these status reports out as a single PDF. Customers have also asked us that many times when they're previewing the report and publishing it, they want the report date to be the day when the publish occurred instead of the day when the draft was originally created. So in this release, we are addressing all of those customer requirements. So let's first get started with the to-do widget. So in this release, you will see that when configuring a status report, you will have the option to include the to-do widget. The customers will also see the to-do widgets configuration, which means when you've added a to-do widget, table widget to your status report, you can configure it and include the to-do attributes that you would like to see in your status report itself. The attribute layout and filtering is similar to the other widgets that are available in the application. The to-do widget added to the Save Status Report view is available across all the investments using that view. So for example, if I create a status report, I include a table, a to-do widget table in it, and I save that in a view, I can go to another investment. I can go to the status of that investment and select the same view with that status report. So those saved views are shared, and the to-do table configured inside that view is available to me across other investments. The to-do widget data is exported as part of the export to PDF, and the to-do data that is included in the to-do widget will include the to-dos from tasks, risks, issues, changes, investments, and checklist. Customers approached us that when they are publishing a report, they notice that the report date is set to the day when they had originally created the draft, which might not always be the correct date that they want to represent, because after creating the draft, the customer might have made additional updates and so on. So the request from the customers was to provide a way where when they are publishing a report, the date is automatically set to that specific day. Of course, there are some other customers that also would like to retain the current functionality. So to address both sets of customers, we are now going to provide an option that customers can enable in their environment to control if the date of your status report should be set to the day the report is published, or if it should continue to function as it does today, which is keep the draft date. So that capability is going to be available in 16.1.0. Once this flag is enabled, then anytime a report is previewed, the user will automatically see that the report date will be set to the current date, which would be the day that you clicked on the preview button. And when you click on the published, the same date will be in the published PDF. If the flag is disabled, then the previous functionality will continue to function as it does today. In this release, we are introducing a new status reports workspace. This workspace will be access controlled, which means there is a new access right that is going to be available. The access right is called status reports-navigate. Any user that is granted this access right will be seeing a new menu link in the Modern UX menu bar, and that menu with its own icon will allow the user to access the status reports across all the investments that they have access to. So we'll still retain the investment security rights to show you the access reports. The status report workspace is similar to our other cross investment workspaces, where you will have the capability to include attributes from status reports as well as the investment it is part of. The status reports will be editable, so the user will have the capability to edit or delete status report attributes from this workspace, provided the user has the appropriate access rights. We also support business rules based on the business rules defined in the parent object's blueprint. Reviewing the status report workspace, as the first few things that automatically pops up is that we will support widgets on this workspace. It is using the common grid, which means there is the capability to save view as well as export the data to PDF. The columns can be configured to include attributes from the status report along with any object where status report is created. The user will have the ability to navigate to the investment from this, as well as if there is any published report, then that report will be available as part of the attachment attribute for that status report, and the user can click on that to view the report directly. The name of the report will be published based on the status report, followed by the date and time when the report instance was created, and we will have the ability to see the status report parent type, so if it is a project or idea or CIT. The same status report workspace allows the user to export multiple reports out to a single PDF. This came directly from our innovation panel, where customers requested this and voted this up, so we are addressing and providing this capability into the product. The user can select multiple status reports, and then there will be an option available along with edit and delete, the ability to export to PDF. Clicking on that will open up the preview for the user to see the ability to export the report, and the user will also get the option to select which view they would want to export. Given that there can be multiple views defined in the system and different investment could be using different views, the end user gets to select which specific view they would want to export when exporting these multiple reports out. Once selecting that view, the user will also see how many reports that they are previewing, and then they can click on download, which will then download that report or have a downloaded copy of that report available that they can then access via the bell icon. Clicking on the export to PDF for bulk export will start the export activity, and the user will see a banner informing them that the export process has started. The user does have the option to stop the export if they choose to do so. The banner will automatically go away once the export is ready. The banner will display even if the user navigates away and returns, so it is a user friendly from the perspective of letting them know when the process is actually completed. Once the PDF is ready, then the user can download it using the bell icon. The notification will list the count of how many reports were successfully generated and if there are any that failed. So as in this example, you can see that 15 out of 17 reports were exported. The export is performed using a job behind the scenes, and the job name is called bulk PDF export. So in a situation like this where 15 out of 17 were successful, the administrators can review the job, and in that job it'll list specifically which two reports failed and possibly why. So that's where the job becomes important, and the administrator can easily review that. All right, with that, let's see the product in action. So here I am in Clarity 16.1.0, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to our administration side in the classic UI, and I'm going to go into the system options, and in here let's look at the new flag that is available under the new user experience. The flag is called set report date to current date on preview. So this is the flag that you will have to check to enable the new functionality for setting the report date to the current date when clicking on preview. Next, let's look at the new access right that is available. So for that, I'm going to go into the license information under administration, and I can now search for the new access right, which is called the status report navigate. And there's the new access right. This is the access right that will need to be granted to a user to see the new status report workspace. This access right will only consume a view only access right. All right, now let's go into modern UX, and I'm going to go into my project list and go into my project where I can configure the new to-do table widget in my status report. Right, for that I'm going to go into my AI infrastructure project. I'm going to navigate to my status. Let's go ahead and configure this, and you would see that when I go into configuration, I have the new to-do table widget that is available to me. I can go ahead and easily just drag and drop it right here. So it's similar to other configuration. I can configure the layout, and once I've done, I can then configure the table widget itself to see the specific values I'm interested in. So for that, I'm going to go into the configure for my to-do widget. I can keep the name as is, or I can modify it. So let's just leave this as to-dos, but let's have some other information such as blocked, the owner name, priority, and I also, in case if I want to star anything. And let's sort this by due date so that I can see the data based on the due dates. All right, now that I've done that, the last thing I'm going to do is just auto size all of these columns. I am good with that, and now I see all my to-dos listed right here for my status report. Let's go ahead and save this view, and let's call this as my collaborative view. Right, so now I have a new view saved with my to-do in it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this date to something old just for demo purpose. So today's date is October 26th, and I've set this date to October 5th, so something in the past. If you remember, I checked the flag that anytime I preview my report, I want this report date to automatically be set to today's date. Right, so that means when I click on this preview, I expect this date change from October 5th to today's date. So let's go ahead and see that. Clicking on the preview, it's going to generate my preview for my investment. And you can see in the preview that the October 26th date is automatically set for me, as well as my to-do table widget along with the columns that I configured is all right here. Let's go ahead and publish this date, this status report. And a new report is created with today's date. All right, next, Let's go into our new status report workspace, which is the icon right here. So if you have the appropriate access right, you will be able to navigate to our status report workspace. Landing in here, obviously the common things that you see is that there are table widgets available. Creating these widgets is exactly the same as how you would create widgets in the other parts of the application. It is using common grid, which means I have the different columns I can configure, and the columns are going to be available based on the investments wherever status report has been created in the system. I can pick any one of those, whether it's an idea, attribute, layout is the same as other parts of the application, so I'm not going to cover that as much. Um, Rearranging all of this is the same. I have the capability to navigate to any of those investments from here, again provided I have access to any of these investments. I can see which reports are draft and which is final. I can see some of the information related to that status, and if there is a published report, then I have that report information available right here that I can just click on and view that report from right here. Next, let's see how I can, and I also wanted to mention that this uh, view is editable, so I can anything. Uh, it is editable from wherever there is business rules defined to do so. So in this case, I have a business rule defined that any final report should not be editable. However, a draft report should be modifiable, provided I have the right access. So in this case right here, I have so as you can see, I can modify the information for a draft copy of my status report. Alright, next what I would want to do is I want to be able to export multiple of my status reports. So to do that, I'm going to just select the status reports that I would want to export out. So I'm just selecting 4 different status reports that have been defined in the system. Doing so, I get the option on top right here. I can either edit this report. So again, if I have the appropriate edit rights and the business rules are defined correctly, then I can edit this. I can delete it if I have the appropriate access right, or I can export to PDF. So I can go ahead and click on that. The report is generated. Remember, I selected 4 status reports, so it is showing me 1 of 4. On the right side, I have options to see if I want the export in a letter format, in a portrait format, as well as the view itself. So remember that there were 3 previous views that were there in the system and the one new one that I created. So collaborative view was the last one that I was in. That is the view that it's selected by default. If I don't want to export with my to-dos, I can change the view. Doing so, it'll ask me to refresh because it has to regenerate the PDF. The PDF will be generated and will be then displayed in the preview mode based on however that view is defined. So I have full control over that layout that I would want to choose one out of those multiple saved views. So if this is the one I want, I can just click on download, and the export process has started, which is kicking off a job behind the scenes. The export to PDF is blocked. I cannot generate any other till this export is complete. And while this is going on, let's go ahead and the back end, let's go into the jobs itself to see the jobs that are running. So right here under the classic UI, I'm going to go into the jobs that, and because it's a job that has executed, it'll be listed under the scheduled jobs. I'm going to go ahead and do a search, and right there I can see that export to PDF has completed successfully. Clicking inside of it gives me additional detail that tells me how many different ones were exported out, and if there were any errors, I would be able to see all those errors. If I go back now to my application, and under the bell icon I now see that there is a new notification for me, and there it is. The PDF export is available that I can click on it and easily view it. This concludes the update for this section. Thank you, everyone.